the NFL thing again. It went like do 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 na 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 na. It's sports with Max, sports anime with Max, sports anime with Max. Oh god, that was awful, but hey guys, this is Max from Burrito, and today on Breakfast Burrito, I'm going to talk about Sports for Weebs Part 2. And the first sports anime I'm going to want to go over is Ahiri no Sora, and that's because it's a basketball anime. And I don't know if you guys know, but I am a die-hard basketball fan, which you can tell from my jersey here, Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving, next year's champions. But the reason I want to talk about this anime is because it's a very basic anime in terms of power structure or like special abilities, because it doesn't have, passing a basketball at like light speed or somebody being able to dunk from the half court line or shooting from like full court. It's very simple in the fact that it's just about basketball and what a team's trying to do to get better at basketball. So to give you a premise of what the anime is about, it starts off with this character Sora, who's really short. He has issues with his height. He's scared to, but he's not even scared. He's just frustrated with the fact that he's not tall. He inherited his short genetics from his mom and dad, and he wants to play basketball, though. And the reason he wants to play basketball is not just like some sort of simple aspiration, like he wants to go to nationals or something. At first anyway. It's about him wanting to play for his mother, who played on the Japanese national women's team as a short player. And you go through Sora's journey of him being inspired by his mother and wanting to show that he can do it too, that he has the talent to be a good basketball player. And it's really fun to watch though, because I really relate to this character, because I'm not necessarily that tall, especially for basketball. I'm 5'10", 5'11", and Sora's like 140 centimeters tall at this point, which is like he's like 5'2" or something. So he has an even rougher time than me. And he starts off going to school, and he eventually meets these I'd say bullies, if anything. Yeah, thugs, bullies, whatever you want to call them. Like, I don't know what they call them in Japan, but pretty much he meets Momoharu and Chiaki, who are twin brothers who played basketball in middle school, but Momoharu gave it up because, well, we're calling Momo from now on. Momo gave it up because he couldn't shoot the ball well. He was tall beyond means. Like, he was able to jump high, he could dunk, but he thought he was useless because he couldn't shoot. That's honestly a struggle a lot of basketball players do face with. And then you also have his brother Chiaki, who is an amazing passer, pinpoint passer, but everybody wasn't good enough to keep up with his passes, so he ended up thinking he sucked. And it's kind of funny if you think about it, like, the player was so talented and no one could keep up with him, and that turned out to be his greatest downfall in middle school. And you eventually meet other characters along the way, like Kenji and Kanami, who both have their own backstories, but I'll let you discover their backstories because they're later on in the anime. But you pretty much go through their journey of trying to create a actual basketball team. And like, it doesn't start out as anything wanting to win nationals or anything. It starts out with Sora just wanting to play high school basketball. And I get that, though. I really do, because there's nothing more fun than just playing on a sports team and having fun. And the cool thing about Sora is that he doesn't use his shortness as a disadvantage, like as an excuse for not being good. He actually continues to grow and develop his skills because he keeps trying to pass the ball, learning how to pass, being able to shoot deep threes, which is something that a lot of short players in the NBA, like examples like Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving and Isaiah Thomas, use actually in the NBA. They rely on their shortness to be good basketball players. And, well, not even rely on their shortness, they rely on their shooting, to be good basketball players. And that's exactly what Sora does. He becomes a pinpoint point guard because of it, and is able to shoot significantly better. And that goes on to my next character, Momo, who actually has a lot of problems a lot of tall basketball players have in themselves, and the ability to shoot from distance or shoot free throws. And you really watch Momo realize that it's not, he can't shoot, and he realizes he can't shoot because he has some depth perception problems. So what he slowly starts to realize is that, what can I do to contribute to my team besides shooting the ball or scoring buckets? And that's rebounds and being the key mental figure for the team. And I think that's really cool that they focus on that aspect. And then his older brother, I always get him confused, Chiaki, learns that it's not always about him, that it's okay to struggle and lose and be embarrassed sometimes. Because Chiaki's biggest pet peeve and big issue is that he doesn't like to be embarrassed on the court. He doesn't like to be humiliated. And that's a thing a lot of athletes can relate to. And the fact that I don't want to be embarrassed on a tennis court or on a basketball court. And here's Chiaki. He doesn't want to waste his time with that. And he eventually grows and learns to the fact that it's okay to be embarrassed. What matters is after you get embarrassed, what you do after the fact. How do you improve yourself? And it's really cool, though, to see these characters grow as basketball players. And I'll be honest, this is not an anime for somebody who wants to see like awesome, explosive super abilities or people like performing feats of unrealistic human expertise in high school. It's about basketball, and it's that simple, and that's what I really like about this anime, because it's what actually people would experience when if they played basketball. So I definitely would recommend that to be something people should check out at some point. And that leads actually into my next anime. If we want to talk about some ridiculousness here, I'm going to talk about an anime that's not as well known, but it's kind of fun to watch, and it's called Princess Stride. And I'm already hearing what Princess Stride? That sounds like something kind of lame. Like it sounds like a running anime, and you'd be right. The thing is a running anime because that's literally all it is. And Princess Stride actually takes the idea of running, and makes it cool. I know that sounds weird, but hear me out on this. So the idea of Stride is that it's a mix of parkour and short distance running, and relaying also. And I think that's really cool that they decided to try and make the running genre and make it a little more exciting. Because I'm sorry, if I just see people, running, like, and that's it for the anime, there's nothing you can do with that. But when they add the parkour element and add the fact that it's a relay, it gives it that sense of team camaraderie. And the characters that are in it that I'm going to talk about are character Nana, Riku, and Takuru, who are the three, I'd say, main characters. Well, yeah, they are the main characters in this story. And Nana is somebody who entering this high school. She grew up watching this Stride Honen Academy they go to. And pretty much they went to Honen Academy because they watched when they were like in high school Honen Academy win nationals. And Nana wants to go there because she grew up watching it and made a promise to some of her friends that she'd eventually go there. And that's the same for Riku and Fujiwara, who are the other two main characters and the two guys who actually do a lot of the running. And you have Riku, who has a big brother complex. To say it simple, his big brother is the best strider they call it, in the country. And he has this issue where he was never going to be as fast as his brother, and he just doesn't want to compete in it. So he tries to compensate with that by playing a lot of other sports. And I know people can relate to that, especially when they try to be good at something and there's just somebody that you can't overcome. And that's Riku's issue. Fujiwara is the complete opposite of Riku. He was a U15 elite runner, like one of the best runners in the country, and he chose to go to Honen because Honen was one of the best teams when he was younger and was inspired to go there. And it's really cool to see all these three characters react, because Nana can't actually run because it's a men's sport. So she ends up being I don't know what it's called, but it's like pretty much like the manager of the team, per se. She's the one that coordinates all the other runners, and kind of drags Riku into the running game again because, he was trying to avoid it. And it's just a lot of fun, though, watching them run, do different obstacles, and compete in different angles. Like, the one thing that's really cool, and they explain in the first few episodes of Stride, is that Stride isn't about making obstacles, making a course. It turns a city or a school or any location into the race course. And I thought that was a really cool concept. It actually made me want to go outside and run. Then I realized, hold up, I don't want to run. and then I went back to watching the anime. So the real cool thing is the story itself is pretty simple. It's 12 episodes, and pretty much the story is just a basic, like, all right, guys, we need to rebuild the Stride team, and we need to, compete and become one of the best teams in the nation overnight. And it's a little unrealistic with how they become one of the top teams in the nation really fast, but it's a fun ride, and it's ironically rhymes with Stride. But it's a fun anime to watch, and I definitely recommend it for somebody who wants something short and gets like that basic You get your basic sports anime binge in. It's pretty simple, simple structure overall, and I would definitely recommend it for anybody who's especially just trying to see what sports anime is all about. This kind of hits all the beats perfectly. All right, and that's going to lead into my next and last anime I'm going to talk about, which is one of the most popular animes, I'd say, out there in the sports genre right now. And if you haven't heard of it, I don't know what you've been doing. You might have been living under a rock or something. And that's the anime Haikyuu. Haikyuu is a volleyball anime, plain and simple. It's pretty realistic with how it plays volleyball, with a few unrealistic add-ins, just because we gotta make it exciting. Come on, it's a sports anime, so why not, make people feel OP? And what I love about Haikyuu is that you start off with a character named Hinata, who in middle school, he's just a short dude. Like he could jump pretty high, but in middle school he just likes volleyball, can jump high, and tries to bring his team to the regional tournament, where they get smacked by Kageyama's team. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, Shoyo or Hinata, however you want to call him, he had no business. They had no business competing against this team. Like, they were just completely outmatched. And Hinata says, all right, I am going to go to Carcino. I am going to beat Kageyama in high school, and I am going to be the best volleyball player, period. Like, best short volleyball player. And what he finds out is when he goes to Carcino, the person he swore that he would defeat to go to nationals, Kageyama, ended up going to the same school. And I think that's kind of funny, though, because I actually had a similar experience in middle school where I was playing tennis and I was very competitive with a couple of my, a couple other people, like in the junior tour, and there was this one kid who beat me so badly at the time, and I was like, I swore like when I went to high school and we played our respective high schools, my team would end up winning. But I found out he ended up moving to the same town as me and he went to the same high school, so that was fun. And we actually ended up becoming very close friends, and we're still great friends to this day. And if that sums up my friendship with my friend there, this sums up the same friendship between Hinata and Kageyama. They, at first, don't get that along necessarily as people would when you swore vengeance upon your opponent, but they slowly become friends and realize they need each other because they are able to develop something called a minus tempo, which in volleyball there are three tempos. There's first, second, and third tempo. Third tempo is the slowest of the sets. Second tempo is like an intermediate, and a one tempo is a quick play. And pretty much a zero tempo or minus tempo is just launching the ball at a super speed while Hinata's already jumping. It wouldn't make sense in actual volleyball, but it's a pretty cool like little mechanic that could be done in theory, but you just shouldn't because it seems like an awful idea. But anyway, pretty much they developed like this super weapon for Carcino, and the one thing I like about this super quick is that it's not broken. It's not a broken ability like other animes might have, where in Kuroko no Basketball you'll have a man shooting full court shots, or like somebody just breaking everybody's ankles because he's a god. No, this quick can be shut down. Like, it's been shut down multiple times in the anime, and it's how they use it as not necessarily the main weapon, but as a distraction or as a lure to distract the blockers to give other teammates openings to play. And that's what I really like about this anime. It's not we're going to discover a secret, unlock our hidden potential in order to win. No, it's just people trying to get good at a sport. And you meet other characters along the way like Sugawa, Daichi, Kei, who all, and Asahi, Asahi, or whatever. He's the ace of Carcino. And pretty much you meet all these different characters with all these different issues in volleyball and like all their different struggles. And I really love it. But if I had to say in this anime, if I had one character I really loved, it'd have to be the character Daichi. Because Daichi, I've talked to Dan about this, Daichi is me. And that's because Daichi isn't the best player out there. He's not the guy that you look out for on the team. He's just a very solid foundation for the team. And that's something I admire more than sometimes the explosive main character, the amazing ace, or the super defensive player. Because Daichi in this show, he's the captain, and he is the mental fortitude of his team. Without him, like, they're just a bunch of people who can't keep organized. And you actually do see that later on when he's off the court. You see how effective he is. Yeah, he's not the most important character. He's not the character that, you think of right away when you think of Haikyuu, but he is an integral part of the team in the anime because he's kind of the glue that keeps everything together. He's that calming force on the court that keeps the team focused. He's that player that, when you need a clutch play, he's there. He's that guy that's going to probably pull that out for you. And I think that's realistic of sports in general, because I've seen so many sports where everybody's always focusing on the superstar, the most important player on the team, like the biggest guy, the guy who gets the most points. But it's not always that guy that leads a team to victory. And just like Daichi, a lot of the smaller players that play a smaller role end up being sometimes one of the key contributors, because they're the ones that hold up the team and allow the star players to perform at their best, because those players have your back. And that's one of the things I think this anime does well, in highlighting the fact that it's not just about the best player on the team. It's about everybody working together. And I think it's really cool. And the one cool thing about this anime overall is it got me into volleyball. I'll be honest. Well, that's partially true. I was dragged into playing volleyball in college by Devin because he said we needed another person. And I was like, and then I started watching Haikyuu, and I was like, oh man, I gotta take this seriously. I want to be able to pull off some cool moves like this. And that's the one thing I think that's great about sports anime in general, because I think it inspires a lot of weeboos out there, you could say, to play sports. And if anybody's watching this, and I hope there's a few, the few 30-something subscribers we currently have, I hope that you guys do take the opportunity to watch these animes, learn the rules, go try these sports. Because in the end, I think it's great to watch these characters grow and develop, but become the main character of your own story. Become that player that never knew anything about volleyball or knew anything about baseball or anything in these animes, and become that character who slowly grows and becomes better. Because I think there's nothing cooler, in all honesty, of growing into your own star player, becoming somebody that started from nothing and became something. And if that's the one thing I would like anybody to get out of this video. And yeah, just please try to play sports. It doesn't matter if you're good or not, in my opinion. And as long as you have fun, and that's what a lot of these sports animes kind of teach you to some capacity. I know they're going for nationals, but one thing they all these sports anime have in common is they love the sport they play. And I think there's a sport out there for everybody. And that's why I'm kind of doing these little videos. Hopefully you guys get inspired by one of the sports anime you're watching here. It'd be pretty cool if you did. And if you guys do get inspired to play any kind of sport, please send me a comment down below. I'd love to hear what sport anime inspired you to play the sport you're playing today. It'd be really cool. I guess that's it for me over here. This is Max from Baka Burrito doing Breakfast Burrito for Sports for Weebs. If you guys like the video, please like and comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one.